On April 12, 1862, the Great Locomotive Chase occurred, in which a Union volunteer scout by the name of James J. Andrews went to northern Georgia and stole a locomotive known as the General and attempted to bring it northbound towards Chattanooga, all the while doing damage to the Western and Atlantic Railroad tracks that he was on along the way. The Union forces had severed the telegraph lines, meaning that no messages could be sent forth, and as a result, as they traveled northbound, they would end up bluffing anyone that they came across, telling them that they were on a vital supply mission for General Beauregard of the Confederate forces. This ruse, however, did not last very long, and they were pursued by Confederate forces, who also ended up stealing two trains of their own, known as the Texas and the Yonah, and they ended up pursuing the General, first on foot, then by locomotive. At this time, most locomotives would only run at about 15 miles per hour with short bursts of roughly 20 miles per hour, meaning that they could conceivably be chased on foot. Andrews and his raiding party were working within the train's time schedules because they did not want to be stopped by a southbound train, nor did they want to have to stop at a siding in which their pursuers could conceivably catch up with them. The raiding party continued northbound until they reached Ringgold, Georgia, when the locomotive eventually ran out of fuel. The 23 men that were involved would later scatter, however, within the next 2 weeks they were captured by Confederate forces. Andrews and 7 others were executed for their role in the raid, especially after Andrews was convicted of being an unlawful combatant and a spy in the South. The remaining raiders managed to escape, although 8 remained in custody until they were eventually transferred over to the Union in a prisoner exchange. As a result of the raids, many of the raiders were some of the very first recipients to receive the Medal of Honor, which was newly created at that point, for their acts of valor during the raids. However, because he was a civilian, Andrews was one of the only ones who did not receive the Medal of Honor despite his heroics during the raid. And if you want to know more interesting facts, be sure to follow so you don't miss out on more.